Mm. Hello. Everything working. Volume good. Yay. I will wait for people to join. So, FNaF movie. It's a thing. It happened. Hello, Flea Exploratory Fox. Yo, welcome. Hello, Surplus. Hello, Iguanas. Okay. So, hi, Haunter Gasser. I think we've all seen the trailer, and I'll bring it up anytime we're talking about it. But for this stream, I actually want to play Minecraft in the background. This is something I wanted to do today, and then the FNaF trailer happened yesterday, so I'm like, you know what? I want something to talk about for this, because I don't want to just be playing Minecraft, because like that's not really what I do. Hello, Mr. Fazbear. The red eyes. The red eyes are something interesting to talk about as I play Minecraft in the background. The trailer looks great. The red eyes, I do think, are. I have to see a little bit more of them, to be honest. This to me isn't quite equivalent to the first Sonic design. It's a little different, uh, because they don't look awful. They just don't look as good as normal designs. Like if the characters just have their normal eyes, I think I would actually prefer it. However, the difference between the Sonic redesign and the FNaF movie is the Sonic movie seems to have had its trailer made first, uh, and its actual movie was basically following it. Whereas the FNaF movie has already been filmed, and that's a practical effect. That is natural to the scene, is the red glow. So they would have to CGI over every single red eye in that movie, which is a lot harder than just remaking the model for Sonic. As absurd, because Sonic's all CGI, so as long as the core scene and plans are there, you just have to update the model. I mean, I don't know how FNaF and stuff, but hello, Miles B. Glad you like the theories. I am working on a Princess Quest video because I don't know. That seems to be the thing a lot of people are talking about right now. It kind of ties into drowning, but not really. Like my video doesn't, but drowning renewed discussion. Yeah, the one bad thing about practical effects, even though they almost always look better, is it's really hard to replace practical effects because think about it, those are glowing red eyes. Any lighting based on it would have to be changed if the color is changed. So best case scenario, you get like the silver eyes cover where it's the black eyes with the red dots. That's like the easiest change. Uh yeah, and I think what they were going for was they wanted the effect to be more subtle. Okay. I'm gonna do something very basic. Oh, it saves what I was searching last. So I actually can't see my cursor right now because of OBS, but that's I'm just going to do something really quick because I made this mod pack with a very specific plan in mind. So we're gonna do that plan. You'll see what I'm just going to be playing this in the background. This is a great mod pack for just like I made this mod pack to be something I would have fun with while just ranting to the camera. Uh, so I think what Jason Bloom and the whole team were doing. Oh, the gameplay's frozen. That's not good. Can I get? Um, let's see. How's that looking? The hell? Okay, so is it still frozen? Hmm. I know there's some I think there are some just like confirmed cameos in the movie. God, why is the stream froze? Why is it stuck on the title screen? On the stream. Yeah, I have to wait for the stream to, like, update a little bit. The stream's a little bit delayed, so I don't know if something I did fixed or not until I... Okay, no, that's still not working. What the hell? That display capture? What? I've never figured out what causes this error. Let me see if I can finally... Where... What does this... Okay. Let's try that. Let me try fiddling with the settings level. Okay, back to the movie talk. I think what they were going for is they wanted a simple effect so you didn't question what was happening with their eyes. Because, I mean, think about it. The red eyes are great for subtly implying possession. Because all the in-universe animatronics need to do is like change the LED a little bit. Like that's all the spirits need to do. Oh hey, the game finally fucking works. Wait, does it? We'll see. Oh, a different menu. It's stuck on that. What the fuck is... Okay. Why? What? For what reason are you doing this to me? Now this pisses me off, because, like, I have this error every now and then. For what reason? Okay, so let me just try... You know, fuck it, we're gonna play this... But that doesn't run as well when I run it like this. I'm gonna look this up, because this has been a problem I've run into for a while. I just want to fix this real quick, so I'm gonna... Okay, random YouTube video, you're gonna help me. Nope, you're not. Okay. I'm just screwed. It's just gonna be a problem. Let me pull the stream back up. Oh yeah, Theft King was immediately like, this is all gone and destroyed and ruined, and I don't think so. My guess is it will be something you just have to get used to. So there's no solution for this bug, by the way. That is what I've learned. There just is no fix for this. So... I'm just going to have to play it like this. Woolnir! Anyway. Let's just... Oh, that's not who I selected. God, my biggest issue is it lags whenever it tries to run it in this frame. It looks worse. Like, look how much... Like, it was running at 60 frames per second before. Ugh. I don't want it to run at 30. Why? Okay. Like, I can't tell what's going on if it's this laggy. I'm playing the speed alien. I can't see things. My God. Yeah, I think the teaser... Okay. So, problem number one. The spinny blades. That's actually a good topic to talk about. What the hell is with this spinny blades? I wonder, is there any video settings? I wonder, can I like lower this by 1? Oh, that's right. I had to adjust settings for the Neon Dynamo dub. So the game is going to be so loud. I'm sorry. Can you stop talking? I'm trying to sleep. Oh. Okay. Bye. No. Yeah, my guess is with the spinny blade scene. There we go. This is what I want it to be. Now I'm the right boy. Oh, this is a funny matchup. God, you are loud. Jesus. This was just supposed to be like a chill thing in the background. So, okay, there. God, that... Here, let me make sure. I don't know what you're under. Wow, that really doesn't quite much. Yeah, I don't... If it's a springlock suit, it's a really weird way to represent the springlock suit concept. If it's not, and I don't know why it would be anything else, because here's the thing. If this was like another franchise where it was like... If this was like Wally's Wonderland, I'm like... Or Willy's Wonderland, I'd be like, that totally makes sense. But I think... my guess is what's happening. Fire Dragon can't hurt me. I already am fire, so... This is a funny matchup as it struggles. I think it has to be a dream. It has to be like... Okay, why didn't you do that before? What the fuck? This mod is endlessly This mod pack is endlessly fucking with me, and I made it. I personally handpicked almost all of these mods. In fact, no, I did handpick all of these mods. What am I talking about? I guess there were some of them I just kind of skimmed through, but anyway. I'm so either William is like torturing Mike for whatever reason, which is funky. I don't know what I'm going over here. Oh. Okay. Let me get time ahead. Yeah, how this Ben 10 mod works is you unlock more the more you use things. But actually I'm gonna stick to heat blast for the fire immunity. Considering my current task. Killing that screw. My guess is it's a dream. It has to be like a dream or hallucination or Mike having just some nightmare. Uh, that would make the most, because I don't know why it would be there otherwise. Like, because like the suits already kill you if you, by being stuffed in them. They don't need saw blades. And also, I don't understand what context of a scene you would have with William like torturing Mike. I know he's like a sadistic bastard and all, but like, I don't really know how you would work that into the movie. I need to turn. I need to fix my settings. Cause so yeah, I just don't know how you do this movie. Uh, with the explanation of the saw blades being like a real thing. I'm guessing that beta phone guy or proto phone or whatever, the equivalent of phone guy for this movie, not phone guy. The So I'm going to lay out a bit of a pitch of what I think is going to happen in this movie. So I think, as I stand here waiting for my own tricks to recharge, that so you're going to start the movie, and this is going to be your security guard, and he's going to die by the hands of animatronics for some like opening scares to spook you, and then you get I don't. Oh yeah, I think you're supposed to like. What do I do with this again? I just get armor. That's cool. That's neat. I forgot what I was doing with these. I don't think the movie will be canon, but I think it will be the closest canon to the games. My guess is like, because like there's a lot of debatable canon for a lot of the stuff. My guess is the movie will be like our best look at how Scott intended things to be. Okay, I want to just get a full. So a quirk of this is you're supposed to use like your individual little attacks like this. What the hell was that? You're supposed to in this mod you're supposed to like use these little attacks, and that's supposed to give you a little bit of experience at a time. But Heat Blast has this passive effect you can toggle on and off, where he deals fire damage with every hit, which ticks the ability thing up constantly for whatever reason. So you can kind of abuse that to get more levels in, to get more aliens faster. And I think at level 12 you unlock Flight with Heat Blast, which makes him one of the best transformations in the original 10 in this mod. Because this has all the way up to Alien Force. And I don't think I've ever... There's supposed to be a way where you're supposed to, like, naturally, just by progression, transition from one Omnitrix to another. But I've never actually played this mod long enough to do it, and that's kind of something I want to do in the stream. The frame rate's bad because fucking Streamlabs sucks with Minecraft. This is not my fault, and I can't fix it. Actually, here, I actually know one thing that might work to help improve this. It is here, you're going to learn a cool little setting feature. So if you go to more options, you can increase the amount of RAM allotted. So I'm going to increase it to 4 gigabytes of RAM for the stream, because OBS fucking sucks and won't let me full screen the game. I'm doing the fix right now. Yeah, in the mega thread it was said that it wasn't going to be canon, but also it's kind of one of those like He also said in the script update that it was going to be that he wanted something more based on the games and not based on the books, which is why I don't think our potential Golden Freddy for this movie is going to be Michael Brooks, because Brooks only exists in the game in the book continuity. It's specifically the novel trilogy, which is something he specifically said he wasn't going to adapt from. Uh, in the big like script bomb. Uh, but he also kind of said in earlier stuff that it's going to be its own. It's going to be its own thing. It's going to be standalone. So the FNaF movie seems like it's going to be basically a kind of remix or redo of the game's plotline in cinematic form, is what I'm guessing. My guess is it's going to be its own story and continuity, but it's going to probably be the streamlined, like, this is the definitive FNaF experience kind of thing, is what I'm expecting. Regardless of how good that experience is a question. But my guess is what it's trying to be is the FNaF experience. You see, this thing has... I just increased another gigabyte of RAM to work with. But OBS and running in this form just is not good. This is a fundamental problem with Streamlabs that I fucking forgot happened. And I really am annoyed with it. So my guess for Golden Freddy is... people are like, no, it can't be Gold. It can't be Cassidy, because Cassidy's a girl in the books. But also, like, Cassidy is by far the most iconic name associated with Golden Freddy, is the other interesting part of this. And also, none of the kids really look like the description of Andrew, which you could just call, like, a casting thing. But, like, Susie's fucking spot on, is the interesting thing. Which implies to me that these are basically going to be the more or less game continuity canon designs of the kids. Or at least these are going to be like the references of like, hey, this is probably what the characters are going to be kind of like. Because the only change is Abby doesn't look like what Elizabeth should look like. But also I think Abby might be kind of a somewhat original counterpart. Okay, hold up. Let me try something. Let me turn off the stream for a second. How much RAM am I using right now? I could use a little bit more. Six gigabytes of RAM. I don't think this is actually improving anything either. For context, I think I might just have to have not Minecraft playing. This is heavily not vanilla. I think they're definitely going to do sequels if the movie turns out good and releases well. They're not gender swapping like anyone. No, you have to understand. This PC has this laptop I'm running it on has 32 gigabytes of RAM. I can allot 6 gigabytes of RAM to this. The issue with this laptop is it has a shitty processor. It's Intel 5 and like a mid-end Intel 5, which, I mean, for its time, this PC would have been fucking awesome. But it's a few years behind now. Yeah, I don't think we can use this super... I think this can give us some more ideas of what the general story beats are. Like, to me, if that blonde kid happens to be confirmed to name Cassidy, I think I will lose all faith in my already like half and half faith in Stitchline. I think it will be completely destroyed if that character's named Cassidy. Okay, let me. So yeah, this is not a RAM thing. This is something. Let me figure this out. Graphics are fast. Frame. Oh, let me try VSync. Is that better? If it just tries to. What if I just tell it to aim for exactly 60? How is this working at exactly 60? How is what not gender? No one's fucking gender swapped. Who is gender swapped? Everyone's the same. I turned into upgrade there for a frame. So this is not helping. What the fuck is with Minecraft right now? VSync, go. I guess I'm dying it now. Uh, okay, I'm gonna. I think yeah, I do think they mean Cassie, but like, it's like one character and it's speculation. Okay, so we're just gonna have this up. Uh, I'll just have it on loop. Uh, I don't know why it can't run Minecraft. There's no reason it shouldn't. I don't know what's causing it to lag, but I guess I'll just run this. I'll just run the game. I'll just run the damn trailer in the background. Uh, yeah, Cassie is gender neutral. Stitchline is the theory that the Fazbear Frights novel, the Fazbear Fright series, specifically, every story connected to the Stitch Race Stingers is directly in the game's continuity. Uh, However, I've never really been sold on it, and part of the reason is it relies on certain concepts to be true to happen, and those concepts are often like very dicey and like really weird to debate because it hinges on factors we just don't know. Let me see if I can. Uh, no, that's still too loud for like the stream. That's quite enough. I just wanted to have background noise so there's when I'm not talking, there's still something going. So hmm. And particularly to me, well, if Cassidy is a blonde kid in this, to me that confirms it is possible for a continuity in which Cassidy is male, because that is the one thing that is really hard to like to shut down for the counter arguments of like, oh, vengeful spirit gender nonsense, which I think is already a dumb debate, but like the one thing you can't say isn't wrong is that the character is referred to as male and the Cassidy in the novel trilogy is female. And there's no other precedent of a character's gender really being swapped, especially if they have the same name. But if it happens in the movie, if let me pull them up. Uh, let me If this kid ends up being Cassidy, then that would what fucking quality over there? This is it did not look 1080p. Uh, if this kid ends up being Cassidy, then we have a precedent for gender being altered. Uh, and that's keyword if, because there's always the chance this is some new character and or they're not going to have the same names. However, uh, based on everyone else kind of matching what we should know, you can say it's not Cassidy, but that doesn't make it true or not true, because we don't know. This kid is wearing yellow and something. It's kind of actually hard to tell given the lighting. It could be yellow and brown, but here, this is the other good shot of them. But the other thing is, this kid, here's all of the other ones here seem to be wearing stuff that lines up with their characters. Because it looks like she's wearing like overalls or a bib. We have bunny ears on this kid, the hat on this one, and then we have the hook on this one. But this one's the only one with nothing, which is what makes me think they're Golden Freddy in this situation. Not to mention their look kind of looks like it. The blonde girl is Susie. What the fuck is wrong? Let me see. Does this show up? I should not be using this. Yeah, no. This lines up way more with what Susie is like. Because we know this isn't the bite victim because Mike. So from what's been implied in leaks, Mike will have a younger brother named Garrett in this movie. So if there's a bite victim counterpart, it's Garrett, and Garrett, the IMDb listing. For Garrett, what the hell? Bring me IMDb. I know IMDb is like somewhat editable, but what the fuck? Okay, there we go. We know there's someone playing a character named Garrett, who not is not blonde. By Lucas Grant. Yeah. So that is not Garrett's. I saw this earlier. I fucking hate using Bing's stupid search thing, but it's the only way to separate it from my normal account and stuff. Yeah, she has curly hair in the games, but she's blonde, and Cassidy's not blonde in any continuity. And it's also confirmed. I'm pretty sure it's confirmed by the casting listing. So the Garrett might be the victim's name. I think it's the closest thing to a confirmed name until proven otherwise. Because yeah, there are arguments for this kid being Golden Freddy. For example, he's the one obscured by Mike here. God, I really wish we could see what she's wearing a bit more, because that looks like she's something on her, and she's wearing yellow. And they both have yellow stripes is the complicated thing here. However, this kid's more in line with the other kids, which is what's complicated. Either way, neither of these brats look like Cassidy. Or really Andrew. Honestly, like, these two are the one. I mean, there could be more kids here, but like, Nah. Can we see a better? Yeah, we can. Oh, that's a really good shot of the hook hand there. That totally a hook hand. And it's on the same. It's on Foxy's hook hand, isn't it? That's really. God, it's the blur is just a little too much, but she's got something on her shirt. I doubt it, considering this kid has rabbit ears. Clearly, this is Funtime Freddy. The blonde kid has yellow stripes too, is the issue. And also, like I said, they are the only one that doesn't have like some element of their prominent character as like an accessory. Because this girl has something on her shirt or like something she's wearing. Then all of them have accessories except for this one. Yeah, but they both have yellow stripes is the thing. I'm not saying this one can't be Freddy. I'm just saying it's more thematically appropriate if they all have a costume part. But then Golden Freddy's the special one who doesn't. Anyway, we got Purple Guy. This is like Han and William Afton design. And I really hope there's just one brief scene where he wears like a purple overcoat. Even if he takes it off immediately. That would be awesome. That would be a great way to signal to like casual people who are like whose knowledge is like Markiplier playthroughs and like Purple Guy. If that's all people know, and he wears like a purple coat in one scene, that would be a great way just to signal it to the audience who doesn't know William Afton by name that well. I mean, yeah, they could have done it on purpose, but like it's all those like assumptions on assumptions. Like I'm just going off of what feels like the most unique pattern because like otherwise, yeah. See, this is the shot that tells me. Hold on. Let's get back to it. This shot of Mike looks like he's waking up, or like this looks like a dream sequence shot, right? Like he like falls over in the real world and then he like wakes back up here and it's in the dream. And then this looks like our let's call him Cot Sothan. This guy who exists to be killed by the animatronics, my guess, who will open up the position for Mike. We have what could be an endoskeleton here, but my guess is this is actually Foxy's feet. Because Foxy's the only character with exposed metal feet. This is also like a kind of. Can we actually see a little bit of? Nah, not quite. We can't really see the full design in the reflections. I was wondering if we could. The only character who has a noticeable design change is Abby. Doesn't quite look like Elizabeth. She does look like Book Elizabeth, actually, though. But what's funky about this roster is of the dead kids is none of them quite 100% match things. Uh, yeah, that's definitely Foxy's leg. That's like because it's the same two-toe pattern. He's the only character with exposed toes. He's the only character that's not super prominent in the trailer otherwise. Uh, God, ignoring the red eyes because they're very eye-catching. They're very like you do focus on them a lot. Hi, Belvex. God, they look great. Like, the actual animatronic suits look so good. I wonder, that's Centipede? Some of my classic arcades I'm a little mixed on my knowledge of. God, the set looks so good. And then I love the stained glass Chica. I don't know why. And then, oh, there's also stained glass Bonnie that we can see there. Let's see. I want to like just stop one of these frames and look around. Trash, prize counter. We got food over here. Got all the destroyed and kind of messed up tables, cobwebs. God, like look at that. That like that is such a perfect capture of the game costumes. It's just fuzzy and realistic enough. Uh, but it's also like plasticky and kind of like shitty, like forced foamy texture enough, like the games, because the games look like they're like foam with fabric on them, and because they're games modeled like very quickly, they it's just kind of a texture slapped on them. You don't really get to see the real fuzz and grit on them, but you can totally see it here. They're like the perfect balance of like you can see the volume, you can see like the stitched lines and all that. Stitched line. You can see like all the animatronic parts. They make the look work better than almost any design has. I would say these might replace FNaF Plus as my favorite FNaF designs. Oh, this is our only other shot of Foxy. That's a great shot, though. I think the red eye. I wonder if there is something they can do about the red eyes. Honestly, if they see this shot, actually, the red eyes doesn't look that bad. I think it's because like look at Foxy here. That doesn't look bad at all. I think the real problem is the squinted eyes. Because like here, let me see if I can pop this in. I want to like I don't think you can fit because like all of the edits people make to the eyes don't keep the squint. So here, let me hide the. There's not really spoilers in that roster, and I want to just hide it to the side. Okay, let's take a look at this because let's actually change this and show you really can't fix it. Let's just make them white for this scene. It really is the fact. Hold on. This is a very like on in the moment just kind of design change. Like let me actually hold on. Actually, that looks great, but that's actually a really cool edit. I might hold on. Anyway, let me sure revert it back to like it's not really the coloration, it kind of is more the squint. That said, this is a really cool like atmosphere. Let me see if I can tonal correct this a little bit to that's that looks too crispy. Hold on. That's actually like I kind of like how that turned out. Anyway, Point is, I don't think it's actually. I honestly think if the eyes were white, it would still be the same problem. He became a Sasquatch thumbnail. He did, actually. I don't think it's even the eye color. I think it's actually just the slanted eyes like this. I don't think fixing it would actually fix it. Uh, because like I said, if you keep the squint, it really doesn't fix things. Let me try another opportunity with that. I'm kind of stacking effects on this, but I don't really know how you would fix the squint because that really is the problem. Because it. Hmm.
Come to life. Hit it, guys.
I hope we can hear a full Freddy song in this movie. Because we've never, I would say, other than the FNaF Plus teasers, we've never gotten to see them actually perform really.
If you're watching this video,
Given that that song goes on longer in the trailer, like you can hear it in the background, I think you actually will hear enough of that song in the real movie.
it means you've been selected as Freddy's newest security guard.
Uh, the stoned memes are getting very old, I'll say. I'm not.
Hello?
They're not funny enough to be worth it.
We're going to have so much fun together.
God, I wanna. This is such a great shot, man. And the multiple shadows allows you to see the hook hand without breaking his biology, or not biology, his kind of anatomy and design. And it's just barely visible to see the teeth and all that. And it's taller, so it's like, because the camera is skewed, it points upwards, which makes him look bigger, and we're not even seeing him on screen. This glow effect's great. And I think it really is that the fact that eyes aren't squinted. Because if I. Here's the thing. If I take this shot and yoinkity spoink it in here, and then I'm going to do the Sasquatch filter effect. And then we're going to. This is such a like a low budget, like shitty way to do this effect, but we're gonna clean it up. Uh, oops. This should help just clean up a tiny bit. This is like a very shitty low budget way to blend this kind of. If I were really trying to make the edit, I probably could make this actually look decent. But I'm just trying to for this hypothetical. Fuck, that's still not good. Okay, this is good enough. This shot, I have enough of what I need to show it's really not about the eye color. Here, let's. The color red is not the problem. The color, it really, look at that. That looks great in my opinion. That's not shitty. Here, let's even make it brighter. Let's make it borderline pink. This is, in fact, this is like a way more intense glow than the actual shot has. It really is not the eye color. Yeah, it really is the fucking slant. It's like the squint. That is way more of a problem. So yeah, if I remove that and now let's just try to like shittily draw in the squint. It's not going to look good, but just draw in with a mouse. It's totally the squint. Look at that. Look at it with the squint. It's totally the squint. Yeah, it's definitely the squint. The red eyes really don't do much. Yeah, I'm totally going to voice, and I quote, Small Chungus in this movie. Like, I'm not crazy, right? It's the squint that makes it look dumb, because it looks fine otherwise. Yeah, okay. Because, like, this shot looks good. The earlier shots of them all on stage look great. Hell, Blondie actually has a little bit of the squint of like the eyes going. He doesn't look that bad just because it is the squint part. Because I don't even think it's the eyelids. I think it's just the fact that this here. Because if we bring the squint back up, let me get it on a new layer. Because if we do it this way, it doesn't actually look that bad. That doesn't look bad either. It's the bottom eyelids. That is way more. That's a much more pronounced problem. Uh, what else is there interesting to talk about? Will the ball pit time travel? Ball pit? Sun and moon? Anyway. Uh, Sadly, the squint is actually even harder to fix than the glowing eye issue. Uh, anyway, any other points of discussion or things people want to talk about? Because I think this is all the stream's going to be, honestly. I just like a quick little stream as I talk about it, because I only have so many theories I can make on this, honestly. Like, I could try to BS my wild major predictions, but there's only so much. Uh, oh no, it's the Dashcon ball pit. Oh. My God, if if the ball pit actually does have the memory time travel stuff, Uh, Will William? If the Williams the CEO, I could totally see that. That's something he's always kind of had that sort of role in the games, but it's weird because the uh he's implied to be the Between Night purple guy in, or not Between Night, in the Save Them purple guy. And I say that more because honestly, I do wonder if Save Them purple guy is maybe meant to be with Michael now, but it doesn't really make much sense. Because that's one of the other ways you could get Michael in there, but like his actions don't really make sense. The game really seems to imply a former worker did something bad or wrong, and that's why they're not allowed in. Because Mike doesn't do anything, so yeah, it was something I always crossed my mind. There's a lot of scrap theories I have actually. There are a lot of scrap theory ideas I have that are like interesting connections, but point is, it's heavily implied William is purple guy in FNaF 2, which implies he was a night worker, or at least it's heavily implied that the prior guy to Jeremy was William. And if that's the case, it's like, wait, isn't he the CEO? Why would he need to be a night guard to like interact with things? Shouldn't he just be able to walk up and do things? And etc. And but then that's like, well, if you have sister location after FNaF 2, well, how does he get his position back? Or is this a new company he's forming? It's like a spin-off company. All that. There's so many little questions about Williams' ownership and stuff that, to be honest, I would like if they like really firmly planted their feet that he was the CEO, because that gives us a little bit of more idea of how things work. But woman in the trailer, which one? The shot of Vanessa question mark. The woman. There we go. My guess is this is Vanessa, or this is Officer Vanessa as listed in like the casting reveal. My guess is she's going to be a somewhat in name only adaptation of Security Breach Vanessa, not the plot line of her, just like put her in the movie as a somewhat antagonist. Maybe have her be like the inside girl of William, like basically a bribed cop so he can interact with things from afar, to set up the kind of equivalent to Security Breach, maybe if they want to do that movie 3. Even though Scott said it would be based on the first 3 games. So anyway. The woman in the commercial. Maybe she is. It's hard to say. She doesn't really come off as a villain, though. It feels more like naive to what her company actually does. Oh, I guess I should, while I have 50 fools here. Neon Dynamo! The dub is happening. Neon Dynamo Chapter 1 dub. Happening soon. Go to that. This is one of the few times I've ever going to plug something on my channel other than the Raid sponsorship, which was kind of more something I did to see if I could. Honestly, like I took that sponsorship more of like, I want to see if I could do a sponsorship. I want to try that out. I don't know if I'm going to do another sponsorship. I haven't gotten an offer since Raid, but that was something I was trying out. But the Neon Dynamo dub, it's my comic. I'm doing a simple kind of on my own dub of the chapters to make them more accessible for my audience and all that. Even though 8 chapters are already currently out and finished. I'm working on chapter 9. Anyway, back to FNaF movie stuff. That dub will come out in 3 days. It is 99% done. I'm working on the soundtrack is actually the biggest challenge right now. I could do a lot of the voices other than, I'm working on Alex's. Alex has a voice in the dub that I did. but I want to refine his voice a little bit more for the rest of the chapters. And Anais Light has a text-to-speech voice because she's supposed to be that. She's supposed to be this shitty AI that's like so advanced and overprogrammed, but also like really not that much better than intergalactic Siri. This is my guess is this is going to be like a name only Vanessa. I really hope, my biggest hope for this movie is we get a clear motivation for William, and we get a clear thing going on with the MCI kids. Just anything, just like a clear personality or ego for each one, or just something more than just spooky dead kids, because that's like always what they are. They're almost always just spooky dead kids. And the best case scenario you get is like the fourth closet counterparts, and a little bit of the Fright's counterparts, but you don't get a lot even then, because Fright's best case scenario you get Andrew 1/6 of that puzzle piece, and then you get a little bit of Susie. You get one story worth of Susie. But like Gabriel, Fritz, Jeremy, like we know nothing about them, and I've always wanted to know more about them. Because there are so many little quirks of the animatronics that are so interesting to me. Like, why are Chica and Bonnie almost always parallels? Why is Freddy so much more slow and meticulous? Why is Foxy so hyper and aggressive? Is that their characters? Are Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica the characters like that, and they're mimicking those behaviors, like how Elizabeth kind of adopts the personality of Baby? Walter White cameo in the ball pit? Wow. The MCI kids are such like a mystery to me, because their forms always have these interesting little quirks to them. Like I said, Freddy's always slow and methodical. Bonnie and Chica always mirror and like reflect each other. But also there seems to be like this kind of subtle thing going on with like Bonnie and Foxy almost being like a rivalry or like forced to work together. It seems to be like a running motif every now and then, especially with UCN, which has always been interesting to me. Like, and there's always like this kind of like counterplay with them of like they share the same hallway. Often they're very different energy characters, because in the Freddy and Friends on Tour animated shorts, Bonnie's so laid back, but Foxy's like yarg. He doesn't talk, but he's very adventurous and like, yeah, I'm gonna trap y'all. I want pizza or whatever. And there's so many like interesting things you could have to show why they're like that through the souls. Even if it's one scene with like a line each, I would love that. Because they just don't get that, man. And I think my other thing is I would love if the blonde kid ends up being Cassie. Because that would throw such a refreshing wrench into theorizing. Like, that would make things so messy, but I would enjoy that mess. Because that makes it so much more interesting to talk about Cassidy if there's a male counterpart. Because that would make Cassidy the only character to be a different gender in multiple continuities. Which would make talking about them so much more complicated, messy, and probably bad overall, but kind of a fun bad. Because you're like, but wait, what if? Huh? Anyway. This is probably not going to be the only movie. Matthew Lillard has a contract where they can use him for up to 2 more movies. So it's probably not going to be any more than a trilogy. But it also means it's not going to be limited just to 1 movie. If it does well, they have the contracts in place to get them all back for more movies. And the other thing I think would be great is William having an established motivation. Though I am a little worried we're not going to get that. I'm a little worried that William's going to be this like background shady character we'll catch up with every now and then, with 90% of the movie being about uh, Mike and Abby. Because my guess is, I really hope they actually do all 5 nights. And the idea is Mike has nowhere to keep her safe, so Abby has to follow Mike every night. Or Mike has to like go with Abby every night, or Abby has to go with Mike. That's what I'm saying. Golden Freddy ends up having another name. So how many names are we at? We're at Mike Brooks from Silver Eyes, right? He is that Golden Freddy, if I remember correctly. The Silver Eyes. My knowledge of the Silver Eyes is so fucking messy. I have those books. I have skimmed them. I'm so bad at retaining information from them, though. That like every one of those books is a fucking fever dream to me. I could not quote a single line to you. And I don't know what it is about them. I'm actually like that with almost all books I read, though. Like, I'm terrible with exact quotes from books. Other than The Hobbit, which even then, on the spot right now, I can't give a quote from. Anyway, Mike Brooks's novel Golden Prey. Then we have Cassidy and Andrew across the Games and Stitch line. And then you have the bite victim as option like number 5 or 4. And then if this would be the case, if Runny Kid if Runny McRunnerson
So much fun together.
if Runny McRunnerson Golden Pair, Goldilocks over here, or as I've nicknamed them, Cassandrew, ends up being a new character, that is our 5th Golden Freddy. Candidate. That suit is just this endless ensemble. Scott is Golden Freddy. There was all these theories of like, especially when UCN came out, there was this big theory that whatchamacallit, there's this big theory that Scott was the player of UCN and UCN was kind of him poking fun at himself being tormented by all of his creations. With Golden Freddy being the one you should not have killed because it is the character he shouldn't have created because it made a mess for his story moving forward. This was an early theory for UCN. It is almost completely debunked by now because of Man in Room 1280, which regardless of whether it's a parallel or the literal event, it shows that a version of UCN is this dream where William is being tormented, which to me is a big giveaway to what kind of stuff is happening. But it would be funny if it was the opposite was true. Scott has been Golden Freddy since the first game. It is always just Scott. I've had this script that has been impossible to write, and you can actually see me tease it like a while ago, like a month or so ago. Cadney Cadet wasn't talking about Molten MCI. He was talking about Golden Freddy's 5 spirits. There's this unused script I wrote that never... It wasn't just one script. It was like 7 scripts I wrote because I could never get it quite right. And that was Cassidy Fandom Erasure, which was kind of a script that was... It was sort of like the Mike video where it analyzed Cassidy's character, but also it was kind of it was kind of talking about like how many theories try to write Cassidy out of the story or say Cassidy is basically anything other than just the 5th missing kid. It's like, why is it so essential casting has to be 12 different characters rather than just, hey, they're the fifth missing kid. They went through bullshit. And that was kind of what that video was about. But Cassidy is such a hard character to make a standpoint or like make any objective claims about, because they're the character that everyone's like, but what if, or actually I think, in my opinion. That is all the comments of that video would ever be. I could not make any claim with any like confidence that I could say it without having to make so many counter arguments to explain why I think that. Which is the problem with that video. I would have to stop myself constantly to clarify and elaborate where I came to my conclusions, because it is such a topic where everyone will want to butt in and have their own thoughts on it. And that is part of theorizing. And butting in and giving your own thoughts and explaining why something does work or doesn't work is part of theorizing. But it is so hard to write a compact, well-written theory or video in general when everyone wants to say something about everything you say. That's what I liked about the Mike video, was I felt like I could get the ball rolling to what argument I was making pretty well. And a lot of the things I was saying happened regardless of what your theories were. With the exception of the theories I had to point out with Mike Hell. Because Mike Hell would have been a noticeable change to that entire video and Mike's character arc. No, it's not controversial at all. I'll say FNaF 4 is the biggest fuck up in the series. Everyone goes to FNaF World as like Scott's mistake game. In my opinion, even though FNaF 4 I think is actually a good standalone game in the series, like as its own thing in its own little pocket world where it would be the only FNaF game, or even just the conclusion to the prior 4 games or prior 3 games, I think FNaF 4 is good. However, as a part of the series and how things ended up moving forward, FNaF 4 ruined everything. FNaF 4 is like almost all of the mess of the series born from. I would say the only messy topic right now that wasn't born from FNaF 4 are based on the Fazbear Frights and Tales books. Question, like the how much do we take, how much is or isn't canon kind of questions of them. Scott, after giving all of them different names, God. Why even make a blonde girl with a bib if she wasn't going to be Susie? I think she even has blue eyes based on the casting, right? Don't we see her casting listing? No, I think there's totally points in the movie, which is just to be a fun, entertaining horror film with the FNaF universe. But I honestly don't expect the movie to actually confirm or debunk things. I expect it to tell its own story, to give us a better thought process on like how Scott thinks, what stories Scott likes to tell, and all that. I think that will help. That's always what I've stood by, is the use of something like Silver Eyes, is not any of the literal events, but it gives us a gist of what the roles characters have are in relation to each other. Those are theories I don't mind with Silver Eyes. When it's like statements like, oh, William and Henry used to be friends and then they had a falling out as William became a psychopath and all that and killed kids. Those kind of theories from Silver Eyes, I don't mind at all. My issue with stuff like Silver Eyes, and my issue that I think I'll have with the FNaF movie theorizing scene, is that it is its own continuity. Things are going to be changed to fit its universe and world and format. Because a book is just so different from how games can present the story. And a movie is different too. So they're going to change things to fit it so you can fit it in that like 2 hour, 90-minute range of storytelling. And it's the same thing with Fazbear Frights and Tales. They're going to tell, even if Frights and Tales are intertwined with the games, they're going to focus on telling their story their own way, first and foremost. Because that is how you tell that story that way. That you have to like adapt things to how your media is. That is why adaptations are always so different between stuff, because you just can't do things between certain mediums. You can't just literally adapt every page of a manga to to a movie. It will feel clunky and weird because a manga, for example, is so much internal dialogue, so much writing and narration of what's going on, and you notice that in bad anime adaptations. Because here's for example, Demon Slayer is a good adaptation in my opinion because it figured out how to work a lot of that narration and description into either character dialogue or just quick little things. But if you literally adapted Demon Slayer the manga, it would be a slog because there's so much narration and like description text, and the fight scenes are very quick and snappy, like 4-panel things. It would be really weird to adapt it all because it would have awkward pacing in a show's format, and the games to movie format is going to be like that too. And Scott even said that. Scott said with the failed scripts post that he couldn't adapt the books because their story was so suited to the book format that it didn't fit the movie format. So I think literally looking for literal specific events is not helpful for the movies because those kind of little specifics of like Freddy's haircut, like Freddy's fur color or a kid's hair color, or like the amount of toes animatronic has are not going to be helpful. And even like plot beats might not be super helpful. The concept of a Mike having nightmares might not be as helpful as you might think. Because that might just be a way to get spooky, cool scenes that get the lore across for us. Uh, anyway, that's just kind of my rant about like media and changes. Because like this is there's a story I've wanted to tell for a while called Rogue Morte, and it's about a superhero and all that. And I've thought of the character in so many of his stories centered around classic 17-page comic book storytelling, which is not 17 pages. It's more like 20 pages is the original standard for like your original Spider-Man comic run. They're often like these 20-page little booklet magazines that tell the story, right? And I thought of this character in that format, but I am not a printing company, and I already have my hands busy with my own webcomic. So, like, I've had trouble trying to find another way to write his story and work it all, to get it all to fit together. Uh, I'm not even going to respond to that one about Michael. I've had an entire rant about that. Fifth missing kid is the cupcake. That would be a fun change. Plot twist. Andrew was never even related to Golden Freddy. He's just always been the cupcake. Cassidy, also not related to Golden Freddy. She's the wallpaper paper plate pals. Or what? Or have I meant to say on the wall paper plate pals, but that messed up. Anyway, she's the paper plate pals. Or he or she, whatever you want them to be, who cares? We don't really know what their deal is yet. Because the gender thing's such a dumb argument I'm not even going to get into. Bite victim? Actually, he's the fan. Not like a fan of anything. The literal metal fan. He's all of those fans. Actually, he's the half-eaten hot dog in the FNaF 3 office. Cassidy and you are table 1 and 2. When I get killed by a bunny man and get my soul stuck in a plastic cupcake for eternity. Okay, you know what the worst thing would happen with this movie? Would be if it spawns another book series. Because sometimes that happens with movies. You get the novelization of things sometimes. God, I would dread that because that's another book to read for potential, like, where people will be like, lore? No one fucking does that shit with, like, the Into the Spider-Verse novelization. It's just another version of it. It really should not be important, but, like, if it happens, people will, like, look all over that book, and it's literally just going to be some writer who watched the movie as, like, a rewritten version of it. With, like, some script notes maybe from Scott. God. Susie is the flashlight. Oh yeah, bite of 86, bite of 85, bite of 84. We got some bites to roll out. We got some extra years we haven't seen yet. Clearly there has to be a bite for every year. I really hope there isn't a novelization for this movie because that will just be another book to read and be like, well, guess I gotta know what this is so I can debunk it and say, no, this is not connected. Because that's one of my frustrating things with theorizing sometimes is sometimes I feel like I have to read stories just to say I don't think they matter. Because if I can't specifically line per line explain why something isn't important, people just don't take you seriously. And I've never liked that. There's so many things I don't like that the books have introduced to FNaF. Not from like a literal lore standpoint, but from a culture and community standpoint. They present so many obnoxious changes and arbitrary things. Uh, I wonder if they'll give us any years for this stuff. Scott collecting bites like Pokemon cards. Who knows? Uh, Novelization, but it's one of the movie books that ties into 20 pages with a cute art style. That would be funny. Oh, there's a new community post for Doco. Let me look at that. Caps lock on. Yeah. Given that we can't see the rest of the costume in this image, let me. Yeah, there's no costume in this image, which means he's not being stuffed, which is one of the ideas I thought of. This is literally just here. And there's also like the messed up ear. Like this doesn't make any physical sense to be in an actual costume, so I think this is literally just here to be like a hallucination nightmare sequence where you because like what the fuck is this background? Where are we? This has to be a nightmare, right? I'm really curious how they would fit this in if it's not a nightmare or like dream sequence. It's a really cool looking shot, though. Once again, I love the fabric look of it all. It is such a good compromise for that aesthetic. Oh, this is so detailed. It's really cool. I actually don't think the shot itself is that bad. I think it's the spinny blades that are really distracting. I do think it is just him hallucinating what he thinks being stuck will be like. Uh, Hi, Beanie Guy. Or that Beanie Guy. Yeah. I think purely because if people did not know, I'm an avid Digimon fan. I love the Digimon card game and just other Digimon stuff in general. And there is a Digimon tournament I am planning on going to later today. That is in about 30 minutes. And it's about a 10-minute drive from where I live, so I might have to end the stream here for that. So if it becomes a series, it might be weird on the games. I don't think so. I think Scott has so much foresight from the games that he would have to know what he's doing. Like, it'd be really weird if he made all of the same pitfalls and like weird decisions. Abby, I think the idea with Mike and Abby is that they've changed their names to not be associated with William anymore. And or they are just going to be slight tweaks of Michael and Elizabeth for this new continuity. Like, they're not quite the ones from the games. They're not quite any like unique characters. They're kind of their own remixed versions of each. If they're not just Michael and Elizabeth with different names. Uh, Abby could just be named that to make it less obvious she's Elizabeth. Because think about it, if you're watching that movie, if you're watching the movies and you know for a fact she's named Elizabeth, she is on a one-way railroad to death, and that's kind of the tricky part of it. So Abby could be a way to make it so even theorists aren't 100% positive with what her name is, with what her role is going to be. I wouldn't mind like a FNaF TV show if it was just like the normal characters and all that, if it was well written. So we wouldn't. It's not that simplification will or won't happen in the movies. It's more that I think they just don't want it to be super obvious. Anyway, I think I am going to end the stream. Any last minute thoughts to sneak in here? I'm going to look. There's some cards. There actually, speaking of Digimon, I had some cards that I think fell under my desk. I'm going to look for. Midnight Motorist footprints? Uh, you mean the animatronic ones? Because that's like the question. It's obviously the kid ran away. That is pretty straightforward detail of Midnight Motorist. The real question is what the hell are the animal footprints or like the bear footprints? And to those, I really don't have a solid answer for, and I'm not sure there is a solid answer for. Because there is no theory that I feel explains it all concisely. Because if you explain it as an animatronic setup to like scare Mike or the crying child, where do they go? Why? What the hell? If you set it up as William luring a kid, where are the footprint trails? Why is there just the footprints on their own separated from everything but no trail? Which is a massive like thing that's always bugged me about Midnight Motorist that there is no good answer for. Why do the footprints go nowhere? Where the fuck are those cards? I know I have them. Anyway, Glitch Trap as a Digimon, that would be a great thing. Yeah. Uh yeah, I saw the teaser. I literally just had it up. I've seen it. The mound is the other weird thing.